Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another video. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you will be updated on all my future content. So this video is going to be a review of how to subtract fractions with unlike denominators. 3/4 minus 1/12 is our first example problem, and I'm going to go through step by step how to solve that problem. I'm going to be modeling how to do this with the butterfly method here. So step 1 of subtracting fractions with unlike denominators is to combine like terms. Find a common denominator, because you cannot subtract fractions with two different denominators. So the first step is to find a common denominator. And one way to do that is by multiplying the two different denominators. So step 1, we are going to multiply our two denominators here. We're going to multiply 4 times 12. 4 times 12 equals 48. So 48 is our common denominator. Next, we have to convert 3/4 to 12. So we have to convert 3/4 to 48ths and 1/12 to 48ths. And we do that by multiplying each numerator by the opposite denominator. So we are going to multiply 3 times 12, and we are going to multiply 1 times 4. 1 times 4 equals 4. 3 times 12 equals 36. So we now have our two numerators. So next we have to subtract our numerators here. So 36/48 minus 4/48. So now that we have like terms, we can subtract the fractions. 36 minus 4 equals 32. Our common denominator of 48 will stay the same, and our answer is 32/48. So 3/4 minus 1/12 equals 32/48. Now, this answer is not reduced to lowest terms. Usually, the reducing fractions to lowest terms, I like to make that its own video, but I can reduce it here if you would prefer. I can reduce this fraction to lowest terms. Put a 1 in the chat if you want me to reduce the fraction to lowest terms, or put a 2 in the chat if you just want me to keep going with the subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. Again, 1 in the chat if you want me to reduce 32/48 to lowest terms. 2 in the chat if you want me to leave that as the final answer and go on to another problem. Alright, I'm gonna wait till the 4th minute mark here. So I'm everybody watching, I'm leaving it up to the chat. If you want this fraction reduced to lowest terms, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 2 in the chat if you do not want the fraction reduced, and if you want me to just move on to another subtracting fractions problem. If at the 4-minute mark I don't see anything in the chat, I'm just going to move on to the second problem. So again, 1 in the chat if you want me to reduce this answer to lowest terms. 2 in the chat if you want me to just move on to the next problem. Alright, so I don't see any numbers in the chat, so I am just going to move on to the next problem here. Next problem for subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Please hit the like button. It really helps the algorithm. It's the Mr. Camilleri show. It's the Mr. C. It's the Mr. Camilleri show. Shout out to Mr. C. Alright, here we go. Next problem, subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. Here we go. 7/8 minus 1/10. 7/8 minus 1/10. So step 1, we got to find a common denominator, and we do that by multiplying our two separate denominators. So we're going to multiply 8 times 10. 8 times 10 equals 80, so 80 is our common denominator. So next, we have to multiply each numerator by the opposite denominator. So we got to convert 7/8 to 80ths, and we have to convert 1/10 to 80ths. So 8 times 1 equals 8. 7 times 10 equals 70. So we have 70 80ths minus 8 80ths. 70 minus 8 equals 62. Now that we have a common denominator, that will stay the same. And we have our final answer. 7/8 minus 1/10 equals 62 80ths. Again, this fraction can be reduced to lowest terms. So we have an answer here, but we do not have the final answer because this could be simplified. This could be reduced to lowest terms. Again, for this fraction problem, same option. 1 in the chat if you want me to reduce 62 80ths to lowest terms. 2 in the chat if you want me to leave the answer as is and move on. 1 in the chat if you want me to reduce the fraction 62 80ths to lowest terms. 2 in the chat if you want me to move on. If I don't see anything in the chat by the 7-minute and 15-second mark, I'm just going to move on to the third subtracting fractions with unlike denominators problem. Alright, I see nothing in chat, so I'm just going to move on to example problem number 3. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Please hit the like button. I see it too in the chat. I see people want me to move on. Alright. Shout out to the person that commented in the chat. I appreciate you. Alright. Next problem for subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. Here we go. Alright. Next problem. Alright, we're going to do 4/5 minus 1/2. Step 1, we got to find a common denominator. And we find a common denominator by multiplying our two separate denominators. So we're going to multiply 5 times 2. 5 times 2 equals 10. So for this problem, 10 is going to be our common denominator. So we are working with tenths here. We are working with tenths. Next, we have to convert 4/5 to tenths, and we got to convert 1/2 to tenths. And we do that by multiplying each numerator by the opposite denominator. Four times 2 equals 8. 5 times 1 equals 5. So we have 8/10 minus 5/10. Do some indefinite integration or maybe some different equations. I'll tell you what, put examples of some equations that you want me to do in the chat. I'll screenshot it, and then if there's something I'm an expert in, I'll do it on another video. I can't do it on this particular live stream, but in the chat, put some examples of indefinite integration and some different equations that you want me to model how to solve, and then in a future live stream I can do that. I'll screenshot it and then I'll do that in a future live stream, alright? Put it in the chat. Put some examples in the chat. Alright, so we have 8/10 minus 5/10. 8 minus 5 equals 3. Now that we have a common denominator, it will stay the same. And we have our final answer, 4/5 minus 1/2 equals 3/10. Now this is an answer that cannot be reduced any further. This answer actually is already in lowest terms. Alright, example number 4. This will be the final subtracting fractions with unlike denominators problem of the live stream. Final problem of the live stream. Shout out to everybody tuning in. I appreciate you. All right, 6/7 minus 1/5. 6/7 minus 1/5. That'll be our final example problem. All right, step 1. We are multiplying our two different denominators to get a common denominator. 7 times 5 equals 35. So 35 is our common denominator. Next, we got to convert 6/7 to 35ths, and we got to convert 1/5 to 35ths, and we do that by multiplying each numerator by the opposite denominator. All right, 6 times 5 equals 30. 7 times 1 equals 7. 30 minus 7 equals 23. So we have 30 35ths minus 7 35ths, and our answer is 23 35ths. 6/7 minus 1/5 minus 1/5 equals 23 35ths. All right, that is my live stream for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video. And if there is an area of math or reading that you're having difficulty with, put that in the comments. And I will do a future video on that skill. Alright, let me screenshot that. Let me screenshot that problem. I might do that problem on another video, or actually, you know what, the problem that was just put in the chat, I'm probably gonna link another video on my community tab, because I think there are YouTubers out there that can model how to solve that problem better than me. So I'll link something in my community tab for problems like this. Alright, until next time, Christ is King, God is good, and I will see you on the next live stream. Have a great day, and God bless. And again, the person that put an example problem in my chat, look at my community tab later. I'm gonna try to put a link in my community tab to another video. It'll link to a YouTuber that's better at solving these problems than me. All right. The coefficients and the calculus level problems, that's kind of out of my jurisdiction. But I'll link it to somebody that is really good at doing those types of problems. All right. See you all next time.